What would you like to be introduced as? That might be better.
I don't know really, I'm just Joe Solo, aren't I? That'll do. Oh excellent, I've always wanted to do this. Hey, Joe Solo interview.
I've been banging my head against the brick wall all day. What's left of my slowly wasting away. But I ain't gonna die here alone in the gloom. I'm gonna start a revolution in an empty room.
We're here with Joe Solo. Your new album's about the mining strike.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called Never Be Defeated. 13 songs telling the stories of lads and lasses of Stainforth and Dunscroft out of Hatfield, Maine back in the day.
Do you feel there's a certain responsibility to remember what went on in that time and look forward to the future?
I absolutely. You know, for me, what the miners did in 84, 85 will go down in folklore hundreds of years from now, and they'll be held in the same regard as the Tolpuddle Martyrs, as the volunteers for the International Brigades. They will be seen as having stood in the way. They were on the front line fight against neoliberalism before anybody knew what neoliberalism was, or that there was a front line.
And I followed my dad and his dad before him. A miner like calling me mate.
The pit shut, privatisation ran mad, everybody was turned against one another, communities were destroyed, everything that they were saying back in the day has been borne out, and they need to be respected for that and respected for the sacrifice they went through, you know.
But me, I was born to mine coal, never forgotten and never forgiven. The skies from what they did and faded with time, never forgotten and never forgiven. The memories run deep as the mine.
You're a man of various occupations. If you'd like to give us a breakdown of what you're involved with.
Well, yeah, I'm a singer and a broadcaster on radio. I'm a writer and a political activist and a washing machine repairman. That's the vital bit, because that's what keeps a roof over my head. All the rest of it would have me starve.
You're very active within music. I'd just like to know how you became interested in the first place.
I know the exact moment. So on a friend's house, lifted up the stylus and dropped it on an album called Go For It by Stiff Little Fingers. This is about 1983. Dropped it on there and it was crackle and then bang, and I just knew I wanted to do that. I wanted to make that feeling for other people, because I was just like spellbound. It's like an explosion went off inside of us, and all I wanted to do was make music from that moment, from being 14.
How old were you the first time you wrote or performed a song?
The first time I performed a song I'd written was about 87, so I was 17.
How many albums have you produced to date?
14 as a solo artist, couple more in bands. But yeah, 14 solo albums.
Are you going to continue performing more?
Yeah, it's what I love to do. I can't think of anything better than doing that until I drop down dead, to be honest with you. That's just that's what I'm built to do, I think. That's where my head is.
Is there a favourite gig that you've ever played?
No, because I just love them all. I just love to play. It doesn't matter whether it's to 3 people or 300 or 3,000. I just love to play, and I have fun wherever it is. New angle.
How would you personally define your politics?
Left. I'm just a man of the left. I've no fixed abode.
I told my mother, now mother, be strong, for the left way is right and the right way is wrong.
I believe that politics should be about putting people before profit, so that rules out an entire field of politics. You know, I'm never going to be a Tory. The two main jobs that people at the left should be focused on is is protecting the welfare state and saving the NHS. If you can't unite enough to do that, then you're as bad as the people destroying them, as far as I'm concerned.
How do you feel about Jeremy Corbyn-led Labour Party?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to hear some left-wing politics in Westminster again. I know that the media have turned on him, and I know that the Parliamentary Labour Party have turned on him. I don't care. It's just good to hear the views of an awful lot of people in this country expressed in a place where we haven't been represented for years and years. The membership swelling because, not out of mischief like they would have you believe, but because people are returning to the fold thinking this is the party that represents me, this is where politics should be, this is what I want to fight for. And that's a good thing. If you're opening up debate in the same way that the SNP did in Scotland, it can only be a good thing.
How do you feel about the Labour Party from the Blair years up until recently under Corbyn?
It hasn't been a Labour Party, has it? There's been no choice in politics. I don't care what anybody says about Miliband being too left. It's just nonsense. When most people look at politics, all they see is two Tory parties, and they don't feel represented, and it switches them off. I loathe everything that's happened in politics over the last 30 years. It's all been on one agenda, and that has been selling off the family silver, stealing the future, and effectively choking the rest of us to death.
Do you feel like the lack of choice disenfranchised a lot of voters, and how do you avoid becoming disenfranchised? Because I don't think that politicians are there to dictate. I think they're there to serve me and all the rest of the citizens of this country. And I think that it's our job to make sure they do. Being politically active at street level and in local party meetings and what have you, whatever you bag, I think that that's vitally important. That, you know, our voice needs to be heard in those corridors, and the day that it isn't is the day that we are all finished. It's vital that we put our hand up and we act in whatever way we're able to act in, whether that's sharing stuff around social media, whether that's holding placards on street corners, whether that's shouting at the EDL, whether that's just singing. We need to be speaking up and saying, hang on, this isn't the country I want to live in. I want to live in a country that's fairer, that's more humane, that's more compassionate, and I want you to build that for me, and that's what our job is. You mentioned social media in that. How much of a role do you think that will have in the 2020 election?
Yeah, I think social media is a massively positive thing. I think that not if you share your cat and your dinner, but you can use it to counter the prevailing media narrative. You know, hang on, this isn't the way the world is. That's not true. You know, you can argue back, and if you do it in an entertaining enough way, or a personable enough way, or a real enough way, then hopefully that message is going to get across. More and more young people especially are getting their politics through peer groups rather than through the mainstream media, which is a good thing because Murdoch doesn't control their peer group. A kid who's 14 now is going to be voting age by the time it comes to the election. So you underestimate social media as a political tool at your peril.
He came to me, an old man, said, all you boys and girls, you waste away your younger years in trying to change the world. If you want to know the truth, boy, the truth of it is this: there's way too many people like the world the way it is. There's way too many people like the world the way it is. She likes the bit that says, he likes the bit that says. You give them just enough to lose until they've something to miss. And there's way too many people like the world the way it is.
The effect that the We Shall Overcome movement had was quite massive. I was just wondering if you'd like to talk about what it is and what it was.
Yeah, We Shall Overcome was an attempt to react positively to the election result last May.
We could be the start of something better. We could be the start of something new.
One of my friends, Steve Goodall, commented on a thread that was on Facebook. What we need is a night of musical protest around the country, and you know, we could probably do that, you know. So we'd done a couple of food bank gigs together, you know, not so long back. So I said, well, you know, let's combine it. Let's have this night of protest, but let's do some good with it too. And we basically set about tagging everybody that we knew of a political mindset who might get involved up in that would maybe get 10 or 15 gigs around the country on the same night. And it just exploded, you know. Within a week we had 50, you know. So it just went mad. People just latched onto the idea. They were just aware of the fact that it was something positive to do, you know. It was somewhere to go, somewhere to take all that frustration and all that negativity and turn it into something positive and do some good.
There's a lack of individualism within the actual movement. It's seen as very collective. There's not a lot of praise that goes towards you specifically.
No.
Was that an intentional?
Absolutely intentional, yeah. I definitely did not want this sort of situation where one person takes over. It was all about everybody involved, and I was at great pains to stress that I was just a big gob in the middle. In We Shall Overcome, we were trying to empower people in their own towns to do things for their own neighbours. It was about that sense of empowerment, about the sense of I can do this.
Do you think that We Shall Overcome will continue until there's a political solution to the situation that we're in?
Yeah, I mean, that's the aim. We've got, whilst people are suffering, whilst people are hurting, then something has to be done. And if that's We Shall Overcome, then I'm quite happy to keep banging the drum, you know. It has to happen. I'm just not prepared to live my life in my own little bubble, nor am I, you know, nor are the rest of the group of people organising it. We're just not going to sit back and watch. If something can be done, then, you know, it's your moral obligation as a human being, but it's your obligation as a citizen to speak up about it and try and do something about it. We, as a society, can do this. We can be better than the media would have us believe. We can be better than politicians think of us. We are strong, we are united, and we are organised, and we had to prove that, and I think we did.
No pass around, no pass around, no pass around today. Fascists have conquered freedom. We ain't gonna give it away. There'll be no pass around here that day.
Thank you very much.